In the House, they've finally gotten underway with their bills. House Bill 240. Representative Vito Barbieri, that's my representative, so to speak. He is delivering a debate on House Bill 240. What is House Bill 240? Oh, let's listen to this, man. This is all about free speech, baby. Is he still debating?
I'm getting your question correctly. Go to page 3, section 336804, and we're talking about, as it's defined, what the outdoor areas are, and then go to 336805, free expression activity, where we start to outline what essentially that means. And so if a group, for example, wanted to bring someone in, it could be a big name, small name, whatever, then there would be a time and place designated by the university. In other words, they wouldn't be sent off to the North 40. They would have access to whatever areas had been designated by the university that were accessible to the students. And then at that point, I think in the past, the concerns have been, and this is what clarifies it, what happens now if you have a counter protest? That counter protest cannot stop with this legislation the free speech. Now, they can have their own counter protest someplace else, that the university would designate. But if they were to come in, be disruptive, get violent, that is where the university then is required to step in so that free speech is allowed to continue.
Gentleman 3.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Further debate on the motion. Gentleman 30.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the good lady yield for a question?
Lady yield for a question.
Absolutely.
Lady yield.
Thank you. I'm looking at your bill on page 3, line 17, section 33-6805. It looks to me like it outlaws the public institutions from charging any fees for security should a group come on campus that could potentially cause disruption or problems. Does that mean that those expenses would have to be absorbed by the university?
Good lady 33.
You know what? I might have missed the question. It looks like it's what is outlawed?
Okay, just a second. Good gentleman from 30, would you care to restate where you're at and your question, please?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I'm looking at page 3, line 17, 33-6805 says free expressive activity, security fees, harassment policy required. And then going to section 2 of that line 23, it says no public institution of higher education shall charge security fees to a student or a student organization based on the content of the student's or organization's expression, the content of the expression of the student's or organization's invited guest, or anticipated reaction to an invited guest's expression. So if somebody were coming on campus, part of the student or not, invited guests, whoever it might be, if they anticipated a large crowd, they wanted security to be there, am I correct in interpreting that the school would have to absorb those costs? They couldn't pass that cost on to that organization?
Good lady 33.
Mr. Speaker, good gentleman, you are correct that you can't, because you happen to bring a Ben Shapiro on campus, you can't charge that group, because this is a tactic that's actually been used by the universities to shut down speech. And so we've had universities then charge, that's going to be $50,000. And another group, they'll charge $1,000. So, you cannot use something like that to deter the ability to bring someone on. The university then must provide the same security as they would for anyone else.
Thanks. Further debate on the motion. Gentleman 30. Gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This raises a real concern for me simply because I believe another tactic might be to flood the university with lots of expression that could cost a lot of money to that university.
Oh my God.
Put a burden on the university, which essentially is
why do people stand in opposition to free speech?
I feel like it should be a fair and proper procedure.
You don't pay for speech.
The organizations bringing, whether it is a Ben Shapiro or any other political figure on either side of the aisle.
This is a red herring.
Be responsible for costs that might come because of their presence on campus. I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to request.
Is this what we're really talking about? Bring me up here. Is this what we're really talking about here? Is this we're talking about, like, all of a sudden conservatives are going to flood the universities with people that we can charge so that universities can pay for all this security? It's absurd. I'll be curious to see how he votes on this.
Absolutely.
Lady yields.
And I'm only reading so I remember the number exactly. On section 3368,
Representative
remedies,
Mark Sauter
talks
from
about,
District 1 up
court
in Bonner and
actions.
Boundary County.
Would those court actions be done here in our state, or would they be performed by a federal court?
Good gentleman, will you tell me what page that is on in the bill so that we can follow along with you?
Sure. Page 4, and it's the section that starts on line 11.
Thank you, gentlemen. Lady 33.
Mr. Speaker, good gentlemen, as I think was mentioned during our committee, that when you deal with a constitutional right, it can go federal, or this allows it to also go state, so that it could end up on either side. But it is a constitutionally protected amendment, and so yes, it could end up federal, but also this allows it to go to the state level.
Further debate on the motion. Gentleman from 1.
Sure. To debate against the bill.
Of course.
For that and other reasons, I'm a red light on this. I think free speech should be kept in the federal courts. We have enough business for our own state courts.
Oh my God, people, do you understand what's going on here? These people are not Republican conservatives. Are you kidding me?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, to debate.
Gentleman has the floor.
Thank you. I'd like to follow up on the debate from good representative from District 30.
Oh yeah, it's going to cost all this money.
Because in terms of who actually,
folks, this is a red line vote
enabled,
here. This is the vote. This is it right here. This
bill.
is, we're talking about free speech.
And the problem is on, if you go to page 2, line 48, this bill is not just covering student organizations that have been officially recognized by the university, but the wording of this bill lets anyone.
Yeah, it is anyone
who is a student who wants to seek official recognition. Well, you can have groups that are extreme in either direction.
I'm telling you, Tunnel Lords, because these people are anti-American.
Recognition.
To be against free speech on college campuses is anti-American.
Benefit.
This is the Democrat Steve Birch.
Very radical groups.
He's hearing me, District 15.
A security issue.
If you're watching this and you're in District 15 and you had a Trump sign in your yard and a Birch sign in your yard, this is what you voted for. Anti-free speech.
And my other concern with this bill is the penalties. And the fact that
the penalties.
You can wait a year before you file a grievance or a complaint. There's no reason to have to wait a year. If you had an incident, you should file within a week, not a year. And all this does is invite people claiming lawsuits.
Does he have the same argument when someone is raped? You need to file a rape charge within a week.
Voting against this
bill, you can't wait a year to file a rape charge.
Poorly constructed and will create more problems than it is attempting to solve. So I highly recommend
free speech creates more problems than it attempts to solve.
Something that's a little
I'm
less
sick of these
draconian
people
and a little more focused on true organizations that have been recognized by the university as official student organizations. Thank you.
Further debate on the motion. Gentleman 26.
Mr. Speaker, first to declare a rule of 80. I'm a client of law firms that are involved.
Okay, your declaration will be noted in the journal.
Second for debate, please.
Gentleman has the floor.
The implication on page 4, line 21 and 22, is that $25,000 is the limit.
All right, folks, we got a lot to get to today. You guys want to keep watching this? Watch these fools, these absolute fools. When this tally comes up, when that board comes up and those greens and reds, that for me, you are all on notice. You are all on notice. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. They will find any way to stifle free speech. I don't get it. I don't get it. Let's listen to the arguments.
Sets up
because we can knock these out of the park all day.
Business on a college campus, you don't get it done for $25,000. The sad part of this one is the restriction of free speech. I believe the issue was we support the thin blue line, which is simply law enforcement. The results and the damages from that lawsuit came about because they destroyed Boise City Coffee's business, if you will. And this bill to exclude commercial free speech. Personally, if Boise City Coffee wants to put up, we support the thin blue line, I think that's a pretty wonderful thing. So I love free speech. It's great, but this bill has some side damages to it that I just can't vote for. Thank you.
Further debate on the motion? Hearing none. Would Legislator 33 care to close the debate?
Close it down, Coach. Close it down.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Friends, let's not look for reasons to shut down our First Amendment.
Amen.
I do have a couple of responses, and first to the good gentleman from 26, we covered this. This has nothing to do with commercial free speech. You may want it to, but it simply doesn't. If you want it to, you actually need to bring your own piece of legislation. This is not about that. This is about students on campus and their ability for free expression on areas and topics that they want. The big city coffee and what happened there would have had nothing to do with this. As far as the good gentleman from 30, this simply hasn't occurred. We're kind of conjuring up things of what might possibly be, but you know, if we don't, these organizations could bring somebody on anyway, and then, you know, to think a university might be ill prepared, but to tell them that they can't bring someone to the campus, this is where we have that diversity of ideas and thoughts and figure out how to work things out. And I mean, think about what we're saying. You think about campuses where all of these major speakers end up showing up, and you're just saying you can't, that we're not going to do it. And that's the beauty of this legislation. You know, I don't really want to get into it, but just a year ago, had a major lawsuit with one of our universities because they shut down the religious speech of 3 of our conservative students and a professor. And if this had been in place, and we've actually been over it with them and the agency that defended them, this would have stopped it. This gave clear direction as to the manner in which to proceed. So, friends, you know, I guess we have to make our own decisions, but let's not shut down speech. And that's why we're bringing it. Unfortunately, Idaho's been in that situation where we've just shut down speech at our universities. And I appreciate the efforts the universities have given me in the last couple of years to come to the table. And we've taken so much, probably 90% we've taken of some of the things that they wanted and wanted change. And we've worked with them. So this has not been done as I think was insinuated, like in a vacuum. And there's something that is terribly amiss to this. This is very good legislation, ready for your green light. Thank you.
Debate is closed. Question is, House Bill 240 pass the House?
All right, folks, here it goes.
Clerk will unlock the machine. Members will cast their votes.
And a little backstory here. She's been trying to get this bill through over and over again. She even had bipartisan support before. She had a co-sponsor on the Democrat side. So yeah, this thing's going to sail through. Very good. But make no bones about it here, folks.
Representative McCann, Representative Green, Alfieri.
Yeah, Furryman,
Does
McCann.
any member wish to change their vote?
Mickelson swapped.
Clerk will lock the machine and record the roll.
Man, we got to create some GIFs on that.
In favor of House Bill 240. House Bill 240 is passed the House. The correction title.
Oh,
Title's approved. Bill will be
unbelievable.
The House will now.
Well, the good news is, folks, is that it went over and it'll head over to the Senate, which I am very much encouraged by the bills and the things that we're seeing this year. Because a lot of them end up getting a hearing in the Senate. Now they do finally, right? But there's still issues over there, man. There's still issues in the Senate, and we've got to put the squeeze on them. We got to turn the screws over there and get stuff through. Did you know that teachers union bill, House Bill 98, still hasn't had a hearing in the Senate? It's been over there for a while. So we'll keep tabs on it. There's still time. We still got the rest of the month here, most likely. So okay, let's take a quick break. They're voting on House Bill 40, the tax bill over in the Senate, so we'll have a tally for you on that when we come back. So stick around. We'll be right back.
It's our job to maintain the proper role of government and what we were tasked to do.